Public notice of this meeting has been published, posted, and distributed in compliance with the South Carolina Freedom of
Remember by saying aye.
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 Opposers? Ayes have it. Okay. Victoria, I can't see the agenda from
Who's
here.
on the phone? Can everyone else see it, or do we need to read?
I see it.
Okay, I'm just checking. Okay. So we now are going down to, there are no public comments at this time. We have no old business at this time. So we'll move into our new business, which is the Neighborhood Assistance Program budget update. And I do want to let you all know that Meg James came in at 10:02 and John Nickel just came in at 10:03. All right, so I'm gonna flip some pages. So as of March 31st, 2022, the available budget is $90,509.16. $99,490.84 has been paid out on roof and repairs, septic pump outs, and income verification invoices. As of March 31st, 2022, 34 homes have been assisted. As of yesterday, April 6th, 2 homes are in the lineup for work estimates, and 2 homes have just been approved for repair walkthrough with our building inspector. So when we come to you again, we'll have some more homes to report on. But as of right now, we have 4 homes in the lineup for repairs. So just wanted to let you all know that 2 homes came in for the month of April. On the next screen, you'll have your Excel sheet with the dollar amount and the number of homes in the last column. Are any questions there about our prior month obligations and repairs?
Vicky.
Yes, sir.
Excuse me, Victoria. 34 is a pretty big number. I mean, how did we, I mean, that's a good thing. How did we come to that number?
So I think what it is, I've been trying to push it through all sources, whether it be churches, whether it be Campbell Chapel has a soup kitchen, so I make sure they have applications and flyers on hand for when they do food deliveries or when people come to them. I have it over at Goodwill. I have flyer and applications at Goodwill's, flyer and applications at Bluffton Self-Help. So I think right now is just word of mouth and putting out the advertisement that the funds are available. So we've been, pretty successful in getting the word out and getting the help that people need.
Well, that speaks kudos to you for being proactive and aggressive.
Thank you, sir. So yeah, we're just kind of pushing and getting the dollars spent so we can, there's a lot of dollar columns that we don't touch, which is the abatement and demolition. So, if we run out of something in another field, we can maybe push from there. But as of right now, we don't have to worry about that. So yeah, we've just been pushing and getting the word out that there is assistance. Any more questions, comments, or concerns? If not, we'll move to the next thing on the agenda, which is our, as you all know, April is Fair Housing Month. So when we have our town council meeting on the 12th, there will be a proclamation read and Mayor Lisa Sokol will sign off on that. So I'll just give you a little background information. April 2022 marks the 54th anniversary of the signing of Title VIII of the 1968 Civil Rights Act as amended, which guarantees fair housing opportunities for all Americans. A resolution will be presented at the April 12th, 2022 Town of Bluffton Town Council meeting, declaring April as Fair Housing Month in the Town of Bluffton. This act is to affirm the continued dedication to Fair Housing Month principles and regulations established by the state of South Carolina in the United States federal government. A copy of the proposed resolution is attached, and that is what Mayor Sokol will sign next week during the town council meeting. Any questions there? Nothing needs to be done with that. I just wanted you all to know that it will be presented next week at town council. Any questions or comments there? All right, hearing none, seeing any hands, no hands. Is Tammie Hoy on? She's supposed to be our presenter for today. She did not say that she had any conflict. She was all set. And I don't see her down on the bottom. That maybe was her, but that's not. So while we wait for her for about maybe another 5 or 10 minutes, I do want to give you guys an update. March 29th, we had our heirs property seminar / workshop. We had 9 participants, 9 residents that did come out. We had our 3 presenters from heirs property. One spoke about the wood forestry and the other about heirs property keeping and wills. She gave a little bit of a wills presentation as well. And it was very well given, very well put together. Those 9 participants, I can see on their face that they did get a lot of out of it. They asked questions and it was very well put together. So I do want to thank you all for helping us put that out. Wish we would have got a little bit more, but the 9 that we did reach out to, like I said, they got a lot from it. They got little bags and different things like that. So that did go off very well. Does anyone have any questions or concerns? I'm going to put myself on mute for, if you give me 2 seconds, so I can get Tammie online.
I just emailed
You just
Victoria.
emailed me? Yes.
Hey, this is Stephen Steese. Fred asked me to hop on this morning to just give an update about conversation with affordable housing with the RFP that we're working through. And I apologize for hopping on a few minutes late. I was in another meeting and had to step out and just realized I was running with you. But I sent out an update to council. I had a meeting with our potential contractor on Friday last week to work through some of the details and concerns that they had. It was a positive meeting. I think we have a few details we're trying to work through. They had a little concerns about market conditions and timing of materials and stuff like that, that is just, impacting the entire housing market as a whole right now. So I think there's some wording and language that we can do to outline some of their concerns, how that may impact the project. But they're working on finalizing their architectural and engineering cost. And once they get that to us, we can bring that back to council. Still plan is to bring it back to the May council meeting to review and also go through the pricing and try to get this project moving forward and look to hopefully award to a contractor to do the affordable housing. I will say that the first one that we're looking to do that we're using as our primary is 1095 May River Road, which is outlined to have somewhere around 12 to 14 single family units. So we're using that one as our first project. And then as we start getting that one finalized, we can start moving forward to the other 2 projects that we have, which are both on Bluffton Road.
I have a question, Stephen. Where are the 10 to 14 single family units going to be?
The town owns property on 1095 May River Road.
Okay,
And when we put it out, we put a little bit of a kind of some site layout potentials. And depending on if they make them all detached or they put a couple townhomes, they could get somewhere around a dozen or plus or minus on the property. And the goal would be those to be all owner occupied units.
great.
And even had some conversation, and we can see how this continues to move forward about maybe trying to reserve one or two of those for somebody in the service industry, like teachers, police, fire, nursing, something like that, so that maybe they have first priority in application to some of those. So
Okay.
that was just some conversation we had outside of the entire project.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Was there anything else that you wanted me to hit on, Fred, or did I hit everything?
Fred's muted.
I don't know.
Hold on one second.
I'm with myself.
Okay.
He's muted. I'm going to, I have you here on my phone, Councilman, so if you want to speak
Okay.
louder, they can hear you from my phone. Go ahead.
Stephen, you answered most of the question, but if there's anyone else that may have some question, we can you stay on for a few more minutes and see if there's any other concerns?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
Is there anyone else? Okay. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you coming in. It's very helpful to hear from the chief executive officer of the town to give us this update, because I wanted the committee members to know we're still working on it, and we didn't have any real report for a few months. So thank you, sir. I appreciate you.
Of course. And like I said, I think the meeting went well, so I wanted to make sure that we got the information out, that we're still moving forward, and have hopes that everything will get finalized.
Okay.
All right. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
Okay. Do we have any other questions or concerns from anyone?
We did find our presenter. I think she was given a little time for us to get our business out of the way. So I did, our presenter is online. If you want to, if we're ready to move to that part.
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Tammie. Ms. Tammie is the Chief Executive Officer of the Community Works over in Greenville, and she is working closely with Eric Greenway. So she's going to give us some information on what she does and how she's going to be helping the Regional Housing Trust Fund, as well as if you guys have any questions for her, maybe some items that we can work on here with our neighborhood assistance program. Ms. Tammie?
Great, thank you. I hope, can you hear me okay, Victoria?
Yes, ma'am. Can everyone hear Ms. Tammie?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, good, thank you. And I apologize, I was running late. I know you guys wanted to get some business out of the way, so I said I would join on a few minutes later. So thank you, I'm excited. Hopefully we'll meet you all in person at some point. I did have the pleasure to come down to the town and meet with Victoria and some of your team. And so we are working, so Community Works is a nonprofit loan fund. So we finance a couple things, and I'm going to send Victoria a packet that she can share with you guys of all of our loan products and all of our programs. But a couple things I wanted to share with you around housing. So we finance affordable housing development. We work predominantly with nonprofit and for-profit developers to preserve or produce affordable housing. And that could be anywhere from like a line of credit. Those of you that may come from the banking world, that, you know, where you can acquire a property, you can rehab it and resell it for affordable housing, or maybe you're going to do new construction. So it could be single family homes. It could be multifamily homes. It could be a large tax credit development for like multifamily seniors. So we work really closely with nonprofit and for-profit developers to access funding sources for housing. And in particular, and we also do small business lending, micro lending and small business lending as well. And but I'm not going to really kind of talk about that here, but Victoria knows that we offer those products. And we are headquartered in Greenville, but we are statewide. And we have been working with the Coastal Community Foundation as well as with Beaufort County and the city, and of course working with Victoria on understanding what some of the needs and opportunities might be in the Bluffton community, in the Beaufort County community around affordable housing. And there's not an organization like us currently in your community, and so we're trying to bring our capacity and our resources to support the goals that you all have there. And something else that we have been doing is we've been working with the Beaufort Memorial Hospital. So obviously a large employer in the area, a very important employer. They obviously also are struggling to help their employees identify home ownership because of the cost of housing and because of the incomes that they earn. So we launched a down payment assistance program working with the hospital. I'm excited to say, Victoria, I haven't shared this, we closed one already. So one household has now become a homeowner because of our partnership with the hospital. And the goal is that employees that work for the hospital and live within a certain mile radius of any one of their campuses could access home ownership through this program. And so we're really excited that we just launched that program. As it relates to owner-occupied rehab, so we don't do that. We're not a developer. We don't do rehab ourselves. But one of the things that Victoria and I have been talking about is like what kind of financing might we be creative about and think about to extend and expand some of the commitments that the town has made. In some cases, maybe there's homeowners that can afford a little bit of a payment. And so maybe, you know, in terms of looking at those outside of 80% of AMI, maybe those that could withstand a small payment to do some additional rehab work. And so we're just kind of starting to think about innovative ideas of how we could help stretch and leverage your dollars to support more families in the community. And we've looked at some different models of how we might do that. But just early on, we just started working in the community over the last 6 to 8 months and been talking with Eric about administering the local housing fund. We know that part of the recommendation from the consultants was to partner with a CDFI, which is a community development financial institution, which we are one. We are certified by U.S. Treasury to do this type of lending that's mission focused around housing and asset and wealth building. So I know that's a lot in a short amount of time. I know you guys have agenda items, but I'm happy to answer questions and talk any more specifically about the products and services that we have and kind of go from there, Victoria, if that makes sense.
Yes, you just gave us a lot in a short period of time. So I thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Ms. Tammie? Because she's full of, you know, stuff that we want to try and do to enlarge our program. So we don't have anything set in stone, of course, just kind of putting some draft ideas out so we can extend what we do already. So any of you have any questions for Ms. Tammie?
Tammie, do you have a website or anything that we can go to? You did give us some great information, but it was a lot.
Yeah, I do. I have a website, and I'll also, right after this call, I'm going to email Victoria all of our products and services, so it'll be in a PowerPoint, but we do have a website, and it's, and actually I can also drop it in the chat if you like. It's communityworkscarolina.org. But I'll just say after this phone call, I'll certainly make sure that she has this PowerPoint that has all of our products and details and about the work that we do. And just so you know, we have been coming, whoops, I think I cut it off 1 second. We have been coming down to the community about once a month. And so I know that your calls are virtual. We certainly, when you eventually are in person, we certainly can participate in your meetings in person. So we also, part of our goal is to actually hire a person that would be in the region. So we've been working with the Coastal Community Foundation, Darren Goss, and Ms. Hemingway. They're in the local community around having a physical presence there. So we'll be actively looking for someone that would, you know, be our eyes on the street, boots on the street, working directly with Victoria and people in the community on identifying what some of the housing challenges are and what some of the housing opportunities are. But the good news is that you can get access to all of our financial products and services, but we would just have to bring on that one person. So that's kind of our goal, just so you know, that is a goal of ours to help support the work that you're doing.
Thank you. It's exciting. I'm a realtor, so it's really exciting to me.
Oh, we did do a couple presentations to the Realtors Association, and if you have contacts that you want us to communicate with, please let Victoria know or me know. We did a virtual like lunch and learn, and we did that for some realtors, and then we came down about a couple weeks ago and did a session for some realtors in Bluffton at one of their luncheons. And so if there's somewhere you need us to be or you want us to talk with folks, let us know.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else have questions and about Community Works or the types of products or the types of projects we might work on? No. Well, I would just say that, as Victoria mentioned, we just got the pleasure of meeting twice. So once at one of the Soloco regional meetings, and then also we came down to visit with her and the team. But again, she shared with us the wonderful program that you have. We know preservation of existing home ownership is so important. And so we definitely want to be thinking, how do we leverage the resources that you guys have committed with resources that we may be able to bring to the market? And so we'll be working with Victoria and the team. I'm just thinking about how we help support that, as well as other ideas that come to this committee that might be a priority for you. So we look forward to that.
Thank you, Tammie. Same here. And it is exciting once we get some stuff down on paper. You, I, and the staff here, we've shared over, and hopefully we can jump big and, you know, extend this program that the greatness is already doing. So thank you for joining. Thank you for taking the time out of your schedule. We will stay in touch. So as soon as you send me that PowerPoint, I'll send it out to the committee members and we'll stay in touch with each other.
Okay, great. Well, I'll drop off in case you have some additional business to do. And thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tammie.
I don't have anything else on the agenda. That was it for today. But if you guys have any questions, like Tammie said, as soon as I get that from her, I'll send it over to you so you can familiarize yourself with what she does in her agency as well. So, Chairman, anything from you?
Well, Victoria, before we finish, one thing I'm curious about, I've been on the committee for almost 6.5 years, and you had mentioned the heirs property a while ago, and I know and again, I think it's good that we try to reach out, and I know we brought some speakers in from Charleston over the years and places. I would love to know at the local level here, being Beaufort County, do we have any success stories? Because I mean, the heirs property is all around us. I mean, on the street I live on, we have the same issue with Mrs. Hamilton there. And, you know, you got this everywhere, and a lot of people can't develop their land or don't know how to go about doing it. So if we ever turn up a success story, if you can find something like that, I would love for you to share it with us.
I sure will. And like I said, we the 9 residents that were at the meeting on the 29th, they had questions, you know, and it sounded like they had concerns about keeping what they have, you know, currently. So definitely, if there's a success story, I will certainly let you know. And we don't do it here in house, of course. We send them over to the Heirs Property Preservation of Charleston. So, you know, if they are able to release that information or just kind of give us a heads up, we had 2 or 3 families from the Beaufort County Bluffton area, I will let you guys know, of course.
Yeah, thank you. And success could be they were able to market and sell their property because they wanted to. Or success could be like you were talking about, the individuals who want to keep their property and not have it tied up with 20 other people. So I've just always wondered about it. So I'd love to hear about it.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Any other?
I'd like to add that. Oh, sorry, sir.
No, you go ahead, please.
I was going to say, I'd like to add, I attended that meeting, and I was really, I guess, amazed about the information we got on forestry and, you know, being able to sell the timber and everything on the land and the process. I had some clients who sold their land last January, and they had you know, someone had sold the timber for them while were absentee owners, but they, you know, it just was not successful. They didn't really make any money off of it, and they were disappointed and ended up selling the land. And I know now, based on the values of the land now, I think they wish they had kept it, but they just didn't, you know, really know that they could make money on it.
That's an excellent point. I'm involved with a group that meets once a month at Penn Center right now, trying to help bring, I guess, education to people that are in the heirs property situation. And most of what's important is education, and education, because there's so many different aspects to why heirs property exists, and so many aspects of why it may be important to remove it out of heirs property. And then there's, once you get that, there's the education about what your responsibility would be, such as, you know, increase in taxes. And so most people that's in that situation sometimes feel like it's a tax burden anyway, but if once you remove it from heirs property and put it in single lots, now it becomes another tax, because each property will be taxed differently. So educating them about the value, educating them about how you're going to maintain it once you do that, or if you're going to sell it, educating them about how many people that could be involved in the sale. That's the biggest issue, is that you could have heirs that lives in California and don't even know where Bluffton is. So it's a lot of moving parts.
Absolutely true.
All right. Okay. Now, are there any other lingering concerns, or
No, sir.
anything that can help us move in a more positive way as we continue to explore even the housing option with opportunities that we are trying to work through this contract with State of Mind? Any lingering concern there?
Fred, the only thing that I was thinking about, and we can talk about this as a council, is, you know, they were talking about down payment assistance, and I think we should have that discussion. And also, you know, I remember the St. Joe Candler, when I met with them 6 years ago in Savannah, they were offering at the time down payment assistance to their employees, like a $5,000 down payment, to help them find workers to stay at their site. And at the end of a period of time, 3 to 5 years, they would forgive that. Now, I think it was limited to 5,000, but still, that's a good number. So anyway, my point is, I think we should have that discussion as a council, and maybe even invite somebody like them to participate. That's free money to somebody that probably works there now, that lives in this area. So anyway, and by the way, it was a good meeting. I'm glad that I heard everything I heard today, and so very positive. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Victoria, make note of that down payment assistance. So maybe you and the staff can give us more information, so when the council do meet, we can have some background and maybe find out who are players for down payment assistance. Can you do that for us?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Any other thoughts?
One more thing. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Is there a way that we can look at developers who can do construction loans for people who own their properties?
Developers or banks?
Both.
Do
Well,
you
we
know
have,
that
I think the banks, we have, it's hard to find construction loans for people who own their properties. And then, also developers who will help with building a house, when it's less than $1 million. Is that a
and these,
possibility?
um, okay, I want to make sure I understand the question. So is it a 2 questions or 1?
I think it's 2.
Okay, I thought
Yeah.
so. Okay, all right. So I think the first one I heard is developers that would help with property owners that want to build on their property, right?
Right. Correct.
I now I'm not positive, so maybe we can research this, but I think if you own the property, you have to find a contractor, and then I think you have to then find a bank or a lender that will that will that will give you the loan that, and the contractor will be your between you and the bank who that contractor would be. That's how I think it works. That's how it worked for me anyway. Anyone else have any other information on that?
Yeah, that's how it, just about how it works.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
They'd have to
So,
have a construction loan from the bank.
right. So Gwen, for that
Is there a way
question,
that we can, yes, is there a way we can explore that, for affordability? And helping individuals that currently have property, that want to, build on their current property or, yeah, just build on their current property. Is that a possibility for us?
Mr. Chairman, if I
yes.
could, I'll chime in a little bit. That's something, we've started working on staff level, trying to figure out what are some alternatives. One of them is the down payment assistance that we've talked about. And what we can do is we can start doing some research on another program for that new construction. As you know, to make it affordable, money will have to come from somewhere. So the cost of construction is going to be the same no matter what. I mean, obviously it depends on the level of detail that's provided in the plans, but in order for it to be subsidized, the money has to come from somewhere. So I think that's something that we can start researching to see what programs are available on a federal, state level. And if it's not, then we'd have to look at something on a local level. And then that gets back to Councilman Wood about bringing this in front of town council. Very similar to what we've done with the historic district and the incentives that we're putting in place. Maybe we have another program as well for affordability standpoint. So definitely it's something that staff we've been talking about in order to put together to get in front of the town manager to ultimately bring to town council for possible programming and funding in the future.
Okay.
Thank you, Kevin. Gwen, you just sparked a new energy in me, and I think that's something that we need to probably put on our agenda for next month. Maybe we can have breakout committees from the Affordable House Committee, that someone can champion a program like that, or and Gwen, like for an example, finding, and that committee could be either home ownership or private home ownership assistance, and I'm just throwing out a name just to try to make a point that maybe we can have someone, as we come up with these different branches of how we can be more effective in our community. Maybe we can assign different roles to committee members to work with staff, and Gwen, that could be something maybe that you could follow with staff to say, here is some research that I've done, and champion that with what the staff is doing, and that could give us a more effective way of finding different avenues and even sometimes even partners in the community.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'm willing to do that. I have been looking at some models that were in the upstate already, but I'm happy to do that and work with staff.
Okay. Let's discuss that in a little more in details. That could be another agenda item for next month. Okay. Um. Um. Is that okay, staff?
Sure, yes. I mean, I don't want to overstep, but
You're doing great. You're doing great, Vicki.
All right.
I do have a question. I'm sorry, Chairman. I do have a question from Meg. Her service is in and out, so she's writing in the chat. Will you ask the 1095 project stress mention deed restrictions or include it right? I forgot, but sounded like the particular one was single family and home ownership versus some of others that varied rent and own. So deed restrictions is what she's asking about for the 1095 project. That must
all of our project is going to be under deed restrictions or covenants. Every one of them.
Okay. Okay, she said perfecto.
Okay. All right. Okay. 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 Are we good?
Yes, I think this was a very good meeting, good 37 minutes of meat and some backing. We can put some stronger ideas together, and Councilman Chairman, we'll get together to actually put together an agenda for next month, exactly what you're looking for, and I'll reach out to the committee members and we'll go from there. The months go by fast, so if I hound you, just excuse me, because the months roll around real fast. So.
All right, no problem. You never hound me. You're doing a good job. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
All right. Committee members, I appreciate your time this morning. I apologize. I'm out in the field working, so I couldn't be as efficient as I like, but y'all won't help me pay my bills, so I have to work. All right. All right. Thanks for a good meeting, and please enjoy the rest of your day. The meeting is now adjourned.
All right.